So, hello and welcome to season 10 of the Mundane to Magical Online Summit. It always makes me smile when I say season 10. I really can't believe that I've been doing this for 5 years. My name is Louise Matson and I'm truly blessed to be your host. We're just halfway through the summit now. And again, we are joined by another wonderful returning speaker, Maria Fels. Maria's joined us a few times on the show, and she always brings through some wonderful wisdom regarding the astrology of the times that we're in. Maria is a karmic astrologer, intuitive life coach, empowerment coach, and heart cracker. That's a lovely title. And Maria's topic for this season is why connecting with your heart is essential. This is such a rich and important topic to discuss, particularly in these times with Venus being so prominent as well, and being the morning star, as Peter told us on Monday. Maria will be sharing the goal of karmic astrology and how it can help us to find the love within, and what loving ourselves really means and how it changes our lives. And she will also be discussing the role connecting with our hearts plays in supporting us to live our authentic lives. And that is one of the most important things, I feel, for us all to be stepping into. And one of the things that the universe is, in a way, really pulling us and drawing us in our own individual ways towards living a more authentic life. Maria will also be sharing some supporting exercises to help us connect with our hearts, so I'm looking forward to those. As always, feel free to ask questions throughout the call using the chat and Q&A sections on Zoom, and I will endeavour to weave as many of those questions as I can into the conversation. So let's get into it. It is with great pleasure that I welcome you back to the show, Maria.
Good evening. Hello, dear humans. I'm so grateful and happy to be here again and to be able to share my thoughts or the thoughts I'm giving by spirits with you. Thanks, Louise, that we managed to meet again. I'm not going to talk about myself that much. I will have some points in my talk where I refer to happenings. And I just want to say that I'm grateful for the person I have become with all the life challenges and adventures I had to go through. And that I can sit here tonight in front of you all and share. And feel free to ask. I hope I have the answer. I can't guarantee you that, but just ask. So since Peter has been giving a vast information on astrological themes, I'm not going to repeat that. I'm just going to point out a few of them which are connected with our topic. Why it's so essential to connect with our hearts. And later on, I will dive into karmic astrology as well, where I will show you a few points that are important for you. So, as we already know, on the 11th of October, Pluto turned direct, and he's going to toss from Capricorn into Aquarian and Capricorn until November 24. This means that topics of control and power will still be very prevailing. Pluto is the planet for death, rebirth, and transformation. So one thing I can tell you, take a chance, have a look in your chart where Pluto stands, Pluto transit stands at present. Because it will show you, the house will also show you in which field you will go through transformation. I mean, I'm sure you already noticed a few things. I mean, he's been on quite a while now, and it can help you because everything is about getting more conscious or using the tools we have around us to get within, you know. One thing that is also very important, we are now between two eclipses. Eclipses always mean the ending of something and the beginning of another thing. So what I suggest you to do as well, go and look where your moon is in your chart. I mean, today's, the eclipse is moon. I mean, the axes are clear. The solar eclipse was Libra, Aries, and the lunar one will just be at the beginning of Taurus. But still, you can have a look in which house this moon stands, and then you can also see what topic it might touch in your lives. This is just for, I mean, you can play around with this. It's, you know, feel into it and see. Between these two eclipses, we will be reminded that, and we already are, that we are all one. We are, okay, we are individuals. One is brown, green, has red hair, has blue eyes, whatever, lives in this country, speaks some other language. But in the end, we come from the same place, and we will go back to the same place, and we will come again. So never forget that we are all one. And I'm saying this because it's very important to be conscious about the fact, whatever I do to somebody else, I do it to myself. So first, we should cleanse our inside, go within us, into our hearts, to get rid of these negativities, monsters. I mean, we were talking about it yesterday. And just find your balance. And then you will act completely in a different way outside. So this eclipse is really a great help to dive into this consciousness. We will get it intuitively. It's nothing that will come like this. Oh, I think now like this. You will get it from within.
I mean, that's a lot about what connecting with the heart it enables us to do, isn't it? It's yes. to drop from the head into the heart field and drop yes. out of that overthinking into intuition.
Yes. And it's so essential, you know. And before we can spread love and be loving to somebody else, we must give it to ourselves.
Yeah.
And I would like, before I dive into further, I would like to do a short meditation where we can get our mind off. I learned this by there's a Vietnamese monk, Thich Nhat Hanh. I never know the names, how to pronounce them. And he says, I quote now, "In order to love, you must be here. And in order to be here, you must bring your mind into your body, and then you're present. And that's where we can start from." So what we do now is you can close your eyes or leave them open, make yourself comfortable, ground your feet. One very important tool for us to pass through these chaotic times, I mean, Peter mentioned it on Monday, is to be grounded with Gaia. We need this connection also because of all these frequencies that come in, and we need a hold. And she, never forget, she is carrying us. I mean, she's our carrier. So ground, get your feet really into the ground consciously. So in this meditation, you just concentrate on inhaling. And you exhale, of course, but your focus is on inhaling. And we'll do it several times, everyone by him or herself. I'm not going to lead this. And then we come back again. So focus on the inhale. And then we inhale once more and come back. Let's start. When I was at high school, we read The Little Prince by Saint-Exupéry. And one chapter impressed me most. It was the story about the fox and the little prince. And the fox said, "On ne voit bien que par le cœur." You only see well through the heart. And I was so impressed. And I said, yes, that's it. Yes, this is true. This is true. And it became my life mantra. But mind you, in that time, I had no idea what it meant. I was perfect in being in my mind. I was about 17 years old then. And I had built up a safety world for myself due to all the challenges and horrible things I had to pass through my whole childhood and also as a teenager. And so I was perfectly in my mind, and I was really proud of that. Mm-hmm. So this new mantra for me, that you only see through the heart with your heart, it opened a new perspective for me, because I already then had a connection, but it was not conscious, you know, it was hidden. Mm. We are never completely disconnected. And then I knew, I mean, when I look at somebody in a neutral way, that means with my heart, I don't have any bad feelings about a person. Or, I mean, you can see it how we behave towards pets or babies. I mean, that's when we are connected, you know. So, and it is a fact that when we have gone through hurtful moments, this can, of course, also be later on in life in general, emotional challenges and everything, that we get disconnected and that we get numb to our feelings and emotions. We are like cut off. And this is a protection. I mean, we've been talking about this before, but I think one can't repeat it often enough, because we forget again, we close up, we lock ourselves up again. and then we can't go ahead with our process. So tell me, on a scale of 1 to 5, how connected do you feel with your heart at present? Do you feel connected all the time or sometimes disconnected? So if you want to, you can write it down or just write it, look at it by yourselves.
Is 1, disconnected and 5 very connected?
5 is top. I mean, it's very connected.
How is that? Oh, we've got some 4s. I was going to say 4, actually.
Yeah.
It's funny, isn't it? You don't want to say, oh, I'm 5.
Well, we can make it 5 by the end of this session, right? So I'm around there as well. So, I mean, you can play with this, So let me tell you this. When I was preparing myself for this talk, I'm at present on the island of Cres in Croatia, and that day we had beautiful weather. Today it's very stormy and there's a big change and it's really getting cold in the apartment. I have no heating and it's really a challenge, but I'm told to be here during the eclipse. I'm not allowed to go back before, so there's a reason behind it. So that day, with my balcony door open and writing down a few points and thinking it over, what it meant to connect with my heart, I heard the birds twittering, and it was so lovely. They made a lot of noise, but it was their songs, And the sun was shining and it was warm. I mean, around 24 or something like that. And I felt light in my heart. I mean, I was connected. I didn't have to do anything to feel this. Mm. And I was very grateful for this state of mind. So I didn't have to do anything to get connected. Nature did it for me. And of course, my awareness of the nature. And this is what I said before. We must enter this topic consciously. I mean, you must have the goal. It's a goal we set. I want to be connected with my heart. How do I do it? And then you will be shown and you need to listen. Yesterday, the day before yesterday, Nora was talking about you must listen within, right? Yeah. So because there you will get the information. And I mean, this about nature, we surely all know and feel, but there are more subtle things we can't realize how good it is for us. That's why we must do it consciously. Most of the times we find ourselves in life situations where we are in stress at work. We live in a big city. We sit in a traffic jam. We have children running around in the house. And I mean, we're freaking out or we have emotional issues, challenges, whatever. And then we are just here and say, well, I can't take it anymore. I can't take it anymore. But this sentence, I mean, I've been saying it many years, all the time. Well, it doesn't help. It doesn't change anything. I can't take it anymore. So how can I change it? I must make a decision. I must tell myself, I want to get out of this situation. I want to be calm, quiet, despite all the stress around me. So I need to get connected with my heart. And when we connect with our hearts, our heart can open and we can feel more trust. when you are in a fearful situation, I really did so many exercises with myself in this respect. I mean, practices, not exercises. I could feel how fear would come over me, and I would be overwhelmed by fear. All thought patterns, things I can't solve now. I mean, I have challenges, yes, but I can't solve it in the minute where I'm afraid. So I must change my state. I must get out of it. And then I remembered, actually, in the heart is also the place. I mean, it's for me, it's there where we connect with God, with Source. In this place, in the heart, we find our truth, the answer to all questions. It is also the place where we find ourselves. And when we are in the heart, we are in the love and the void. And we are just ourselves. And when we get into this void, we can start to create, because we get it out from within of ourselves.
It's like in the shamanic traditions, we close our eyes so that we can see more clearly, and we stop and we drop from our heads down into our heart field, because it's that's in effect, that's where you're seeing from. So you're seeing the world through your heart, and yeah, it is where our connection to source, spirit, the universe, whatever you want to call it, is. So it's shining, and you're seeing through your own truth. You know, you can then unpeel away the kind of the distractions within the external reality of all these layers of distortion, and see clearly through your heart field. And I think that's what you're saying, isn't it?
Yes. And you just do, I mean, the shamanic way, you just close your eyes and then you fall into your heart. Actually, it's like you drop into your heart. I mean, I imagine it like this. Well, it's a very good point. Yeah, thank you for sharing this. You know, because there's so many different ways how to approach it. And everybody can contribute something. It's not, I mean, I'm talking about my life experience. And so it's nice to get further information.
So,
and in the end,
just on that point, what ways can people, because I mean, you know, it's very easy for us in a very calm moment to kind of stop and drop into a heart field and then be and see what's going on around us from a more divine perspective, let's say. But if it is, you know, frustration, we're distracted, we're stressed by life, have you got some tips, some ways that have worked for you? Because again, not everything works for everybody, but some ways that have worked for you that helps people to kind of drop into that state of awareness, of consciousness.
Yeah, one has to cut the situation, just like with a knife, you know, just cut it. And one way, which is a very good way, is to make a pause. I mean, sometimes we are in a situation with other people, in a discussion, it goes wrong, it's very hectic, but you can always go to the loo, you can leave the room. I mean, you are not forced to stay. And I want to really put a stress on that. In every life moment, you choose for yourself. You choose which way you want to go. So if you see that you can't cope with a situation, get it. And sometimes you must shift places. And then you leave the room, nobody will notice, you know. And you go and make a pause. And what you can do in general is, I mean, we don't always, let's not always start from the accumulation of a catastrophe. You can integrate this into your daily life, to tell yourself, I'm going to pause every 2 hours or whatever, when my body tells me, but I do it at least 4 times a day or something. I mean, you don't need to make big goals. Just be gentle on yourself, because when you force yourself into something, it might go the other way around, you know. So pausing, you can also pause when you're walking. Go for a walk and just let your thoughts pass, and put them on a balloon so they can fly off into the sky. But most of the times, it's the best way really to find yourself in stillness. I mean, not with listening to music or anything, just maybe nature, the wind, the sea, or whatever, the birds. And this is very important. And one thing that we also need to do is to accept the situation we are in as it is, to accept our life as it is. There's always a reason behind everything. If I get in stress because I'm having this discussion with my colleague and I can't cope with it, there is a reason behind this, you know. So see it as a chance, but sometimes we can't deal with it in the moment. So get yourself out of it, you know. And one thing that's also important, when we get ourselves out and we connect with our hearts, we will be connected with our soul. And in the soul, we have all the answers, our DNA ancestors, our life task, everything. And then we can reach out to this knowledge, because all knowledge is, hello, puppy, all knowledge is within us. I mean, the heart is like the mouthpiece of the soul, you know, but you must get into it, and into it, to get into there, you need to be in stillness. I mean, I'm repeating what other people said this week, but it is crucial. Otherwise, you have no chance. You can't go partying and then, you know, in all this noise and whatever, find yourself. I memean, I can't. Maybe some people can.
I think one of the things that you were saying before about, you know, one of the main ways that we've grown to cope with the life and the challenges that exist around us on an individual and a collective level is to close the heart. And so one of the ways that I've used in the past is consciously, in those moments of challenge where I would have ordinarily have automatically shut things down to protect myself, whilst going through that experience, consciously said, I'm keeping my heart open, I'm keeping my heart open. Because, you know, in a way we have to rewrite our own script, don't we, sometimes from the automatic way that we may have coped previously. We're retraining ourselves to connect in with our trust, our truth, you know, our faith in there is that higher purpose. There is a reason for this happening. I may not understand it in this moment, but I trust that, you know, all will be well ultimately, and that the reason may come to light in the end.
Yes, I think this is the best way to reach that state. And it's a brave act. You know, it needs a lot of courage. But it's also a conscious act. I insist on it. We must do it consciously, because otherwise we will flee it, we will slip away, and then we again in the victim attitude, you know, oh, again, it happened to me again. No, you turn the wheel around and say, okay, I'm again in this situation. People don't listen to me. So now I want to find out why they don't listen to me and what I can do. And then I go within, and then I see, oh, do I listen to myself?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I hear this tiny little voice just in the back, you know, shyly telling me, come on, Maria, go right, go to the right, go to the right. And I still ignore it. And then I'm again in this situation. And then I'm told, once I realize, oh, I don't listen to myself and I don't respect my own needs, then I get in a different attitude. I can change it. And next time I'm in a situation, people will listen to me, maybe not right in the beginning. And it depends if we are in some patriarchal structures. I mean, there are other topics. It's never linear. There are always many things playing with it. But it's how you feel in there. When you discover, I don't listen to myself and I want to change this, you know.
Yeah.
Tell me, I mean, you can give an answer or not. Do you love what you do? Or have you forgotten what you love to do?
I do love what I do.
I'm asking everybody, I know you love it. This is a very important question. Do I live joy with what I do? What gives me joy? What is fun?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, because when we are in the joy feeling, we don't need to consciously connect with our hearts and do all this to get there. We will be in there. It is like when a child plays. The child plays with one toy, and it's in the moment, it's connected, it's in his or her heart. And then once it has enough of it, it goes to the next toy. So that's why I'm saying, do you love, asking, do you love what you do? It's very important, because this is a direct way to your heart. I don't know, I can't read the messages, so
Agnieszka, sorry if I pronounce your name wrong, then just started doing as work what they love, and it's the first time in their life. That's amazing. And it's so beautiful when you do that. I mean, one of the practices that I used to do was, what does joy look like in this moment? Or what does love look like in this moment? And I think the beginning journey of connecting in with the heart is, because it is so alien to us. We're not taught this at school. We're not taught this as children. In fact, it's kind of taught and trained out of us. Is I actually had no clue what brought me joy and what I loved. You know, so that's one of the beginning aspects of this work, isn't it? Is actually identifying those things that bring you joy and bring you love. But when you know, like Agnieszka, sorry, I might have just butchered your name, it is now starting to do as work what they love. That is just sublime. It's just beautiful to be in that space. Absolutely.
yeah, I'm very happy
when you go to work.
Yes.
Yeah, well, it doesn't feel like work then, does it? You know, not what the majority of the population would refer to as work, in inverted commas.
No, work is something, it's supposed to be joyful when it is your true self, when you're authentic with what you're doing. And then you actually, I mean, I can see it in myself. Sometimes when I have my life challenges, I'm really physically also very weak. And then I would have a client in this state. I would work with this client and it would be no big deal for me. I would be here fresh and, you know, delighted, grateful, full of energy. And I will give this person everything. And then this person leaves, and then I'm back in my challenge, you know, and then I might drop again. But energy will be added to my getting better. So we should always look at it. Work is something which should mean fun, joy, happiness, craziness. Just like a party, I go to work. I love it. Yes, sometimes it's difficult. It's not always easy, but when you love what you do, it's no big deal. So stick to that.
Joy it's just put, I don't know what makes me joy. So they don't know what brings them joy. I don't have any motivation to do anything, and I don't know why. So are there any tips or insights that can be given to somebody who's in that state where that they're at the beginning of this work, connecting in with the heart? They don't know what brings them joy, and they feel so ground down by life that they feel they don't have the motivation to do anything.
Well, there we can, I work with karmic astrology, and there we have a big tool. I will explain a little bit about it so that you can understand better. Before we are born, we decide, that's what we look at, the way we look at it in karmic astrology. The soul decides what task it will take upon herself coming back to Earth. And this is shown in your chart in the lunar node axis. The lunar nodes are an intersection point in the universe between solar and lunar eclipses. So the south node is the node where we come in, and there we bring all we know, all our talents, our weaknesses, our strengths, our ancestors, everything about us, we bring into this life to work with it. Sometimes we have gifts and we are very talented in a way, and we know it. And this doesn't mean that we shouldn't work on it further. We must develop it further, otherwise we can lose it. So since the moment when we are a baby and we have to get used to our family surroundings, which are perfect for our task, even though we might think it's not just the place I like to be. Everybody has his family situation. We are still very unconscious. And then as time goes by and we grow out of childhood into adulthood, the south lunar node gets activated around the age of 26, 28. Some people know before. So there is a chance to see what talents you bring in. When I look at your chart and I look into where lunar node is, I already know what your topic is in this life. And I know where your strengths are and where your weaknesses are. Sometimes it is good to get our tools shown by somebody. I can tell you one thing. When I studied astrology, I did 3-year studies. And since I bring in a very insecure person, which you wouldn't think now when I talk to you like this, it helped me to develop the talents I had and I had felt, but I was too shy and unsure. Can I do it? And most of the times, the problem for us is that when we don't go a conventional way, for example, singing, I give myself as an example, it doesn't matter, can be for anybody else. Singing has always been very important to me, but I never dared to go out with it. So I didn't study singing and music, but I have it in my blood. As I have psychology, that's why I'm doing this work I'm doing. There are several aspects you can have within you. So once I realized that music is actually one of my strengths and the singing, I went for it. I had already started before, actually. And I started to take singing lessons. I would study autodidactically. And after a few years, I would give concerts and everything, you know. And people would say, oh, you haven't done the conservatoire or whatever. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you studied 4 years of drawing or any kind of profession. It is in you. When you have a talent, you just have to dig it out. And this is why it is so important to connect with your heart. You know, because then you will get into the vibration, you will get into your soul, into the void, and there you will get creative. Maybe you remember what you liked to do as a child. This helps also. I liked to draw then, you know, and it was easy for me. I would do all these lovely drawings and people would love it. And then you can dig this old knowledge out. It is a process, but there's always a chance. And it is actually good that you feel down now because nothing gives you joy. It's a chance to choose for your life, you know, to choose and to build up your new future from now with the knowledge you can get out of yourself. Everything is in you. And sometimes you need somebody to support you. This is it. I had many supports. And I also get support sometimes when I'm completely stuck. It's nothing to be ashamed of, you know. And this is what I can say now is one important aspect in karmic astrology for me, the way I apply it. You know.
So that's looking at the South Node, and that enables you to tap into, whether they're at a consciousness level with you or not, what the innate gifts and strengths and talents that you came into this life with, and that's something that is that spark, gives you that spark of
Yes.
joy and inspiration in life.
And it is, as I the axis, the lunar node axis is a development axis. So on the other side you have the north node. This is your complete opposite, and you can learn from the opposite and integrate parts from the opposite into yourself. I give you a little example. Let's say first house is Aries, Mars, and Mars is always impatient, goes with his head through the wall, doesn't think, wants everything right now. Libra is on the other side, the 7th house. Well, she's more waiting, watching, clearing things diplomatically, not going into action. Sometimes she might do too little action. So Mars from the first house can learn from Libra to get more patient, or to get less aggressive. And Libra can, 7th house, can learn from Mars to get more into action. We will never become the opposite. We can't, because what we bring along is in us, you know. You can't say, I'm going to be 180% another person. You can't. You always have your roots, what you bring along. But you will become, let's say, when you integrate Libra 7th house as a Mars 1st house person, you will become a dynamic, patient person, very dynamic. You will be, you can learn patience. I had to learn it. I tell you, I suffered. Be patient now. So, and life will always give you opportunities. You know, you can always look outside. What is shown to you outside, the universe brings you information along, you know. And when you feel somehow attached to one information, you know, you think, oh, that's interesting, go for it. Or if you admire somebody and think, wow, she's doing this so nicely. Well, it most of the times has got to do with you. Maybe you have her talent within you and she's just reflecting it to you. So
yeah, that is an important point, actually. I mean, we're so focused, we do focus, and it is an aspect of the work to do the shadow work and to clear the shadow, as you were saying, clear the shadow. But one of the important other aspects of that work is the light work. And that is, you know, I always say to people, you know, look at 3 or 4 people that you really admire or that, you know, really inspire you. You can't see in somebody else that which doesn't exist in you. But we're not trained to look at those bits within us. You know, if somebody asked me, okay, say 3 things that you love about yourself, you'd really struggle, you'd stumble over those things, but you can name 10 things you don't like about yourself. And that's how we've been trained. But the thing is, kind of send it outside, reflect it outside of yourself, because the universe is, the external reality is reflecting you back at you. So look at 3, 4 people that you love, they inspire you, you know, they've just got the most amazing qualities of gifts. They're yours, but you just can't see them within yourself. And it's like, you know, come out of your head, drop into your heart and let your heart expand into that awareness. Joy is saying, interesting, her is it AC, the ascendant, is in Aquarius in the first house. And Agnieszka is saying, do you record the sessions that you do with people? Which I know you do. You do a recording of the sessions so that they have those. Yeah.
That's always, because it's something one has to go into again. It's not, it's so much information, you know. And how shall I say, I hope I could give you an insight into karmic astrology, because it's so much information. And I'm just thinking now, I mean, time is going on, and I would like also to share a little exercise with you to connect with your heart physically. It's very simple, you know. Sometimes we think, oh, how can I get connected with my heart? And we think, I must do this or that. No, it's not so complicated, you know. It's actually very easy. We have forgotten how easy things are to live ourselves. And as Louise said before, we are not told at school all the essential things we would need for our life and for our path. We are not taught them. We must learn them by ourselves. And one thing that is really essential about this time quality too, you choose between love and fear. It's your choice. You have a chance now. And one aim, one goal in karmic astrology is when you consider the south node and the north node, and in the middle of the chart, we have this circle, an empty circle. This is, to me, the point we want to reach. This is the love we want to get into, the balance, the heartfelt, the authenticity, everything. Where we don't judge anymore, where we don't doubt anymore, where we just are. I am that I am, you know, in this state. But before we get there, we must cleanse and get rid of our monsters, love them, embrace them, and just change them. You know, you can all do it, you know. And accept yourselves the way you are. You are perfect. And take your task seriously. because it's what you came here for. And in the end, it is all about love. It is just this. And the Aquarian age, you know, it's one of the main topics in it is communities and love. And that's it. And we don't know how to do it because we are focused here. And so all of us have to go through this. But I tell you, if I hadn't chosen this, I wouldn't sit here today. I would already have gone over, not by suicide. I'm not talking about this. This is nothing to be recommended, because I can tell you, if you do it and you go over because you want to do it and it's not your time yet, when you come back again, you will have the whole load from this time, which you didn't solve, and you get some plus. So I'd suggest stay here, get connected with your heart, and you will see as time goes by, life will get easier despite all the challenges. I mean, I'm a different person now. I don't know anything how my life will go on, how I will solve my situations. And it's very heavy on me if I go into my mind. But I'm in my heart, so I don't care. I'm in the moment. And you can do this. You know, everybody can do it, but you must choose it. This is the main point. So I would like to show you when you have no clue. I mean, many people ask me, how do I connect with my heart? So the first thing I always say is, hold your heart and just do it now with your left hand. Hold your heart and connect with it physically. You might hear it throbbing now, pulsating, and you just be with your heart. And you don't need to think about anything. Just connect with your heart. Let yourself into your heart and listen to it. You sounds now, you just stay the way you are. Connect with your heart. And Louise, maybe you give me a thumb up if it comes over. I mean, that you, if you hear it well or not, because I'm doing it with my voice. Okay. And you just hold your heart and listen within.
I don't think all of the sounds are coming through, but regardless, you'll be receiving the vibration of it.
Okay. So just feel into your heart and listen to it. And by holding your heart, you can always connect. I do this many times a day when I feel some kind of disconnection or insecurity, or when I get into fear. I hold my heart. For me, I go into this energy very fast because I know it's here and I connect. So maybe you try it out. And this is what I wanted to give you today. So I'm ready also for further questions.
I mean, one of the things, even if you didn't receive the tones coming through or auditorily, just practice toning and allowing whatever sounds to come through. Because if you drop into your heart, and touching your heart is a good way of connecting in, just allow yourself to make sounds, and they're heart-driven sounds. So you've taken your head out of the equation and you're just allowing yourself to kind of vocalize, even if it's just humming, you know, because each of the chakras have certain tones, which can be looked up. Just, you know, connecting in. But I like to just tone and allow whatever to come through, because you know that it's not a thought thing, it's a felt thing. So there is an anonymous attendee, so I don't know the name, has said they have their moon in conjunction with Neptune in Sagittarius in the 10th house, and their north node is also there. They have great difficulty to find their path and carrier. Do you have any insights? So if their north node is in Sagittarius, where would their south node be?
Well, it's in the 10th house, so it would be in the 4th house. Right. So you bring along a lot of Cancer topic. And you bring it with a Gemini dress. The sign in the house, I call it the dress of your topic. And that's where you should dive into. I would like to add something to what Louise said before. The best thing is when you release tones in your body, just release them the way they come. When we try to fix and say, for example, I must do the tone C, D, E, you know, I must go the scales up, or I do this and then I have to do this. You cut yourself from your true feeling because you're going into your mind again. I mean, let me tell you, I'm a singer who never practices the way all of them practice. And at first I thought I'm wrong because I can't do this scales and all these exercises. It makes me tired. And then I once met another musician, and she told me she knows a saxophonist who does it the same way. So just trust, you know, and just do things what comes from within, you know.
Absolutely.
This is, and be free. And one point I would like to add, when you really get into your heart and in your soul, and from there into the void, and into your creativity, for me, it's this letting myself fall into it. There you will find your inner freedom, because this is where the place of freedom is, where you don't judge, where you don't doubt, where you just are. I am that I am, you know, and that's the freedom we are all wishing for. It's not outside. It's not because I have 1 million and I can buy everything. It's in here. And here you can create it. You create it from your heart. Okay. That's just I wanted to add that, if it's okay.
No, absolutely. I mean, but that is what being able to be your authentic self is all about. It's, you know, in the first place, giving yourself the freedom to be your authentic self. And, you know, and it doesn't matter if your voice breaks when you're toning, or you don't have enough breath to, you know, do it doesn't matter. It's kind of like letting yourself dance as if nobody's looking, and, you know, sing as if no one can hear you. It's just allowing yourself to be free. And for me, that's where you step into that frequency of joy, because your head's completely out of the equation. You're not judging anything. You're just doing it because you were inspired to do it, because it feels right to do it. And, you know, in that moment, being fully present with yourself, that's what's bringing you joy in that moment. And actually, Louise said she felt the tones that you were doing affect her heart. So thank you for that. So, I mean, again, everything is energy. Everything is energy. And it doesn't matter whether our ears pick it up or not. The vibration is being sent. And that's one of the beautiful things about this work for me. You know, it's like when we are in our heart field, and when we have allowed ourselves to release and clear, as Maria said at the beginning, we're connecting into this completely divine tonal range, this tonal field of authenticity, of truth, of divine truth. And that's what we then radiate out, you know, and it doesn't matter what we're doing. You know, it doesn't matter whether you're doing the dishes, it doesn't matter whether you're in the supermarket queue, you're then radiating that frequency out. And again, we may not hear it with our ears, but it is felt. That heart field is felt. We are all one. It's felt throughout the whole world. So whatever we do with ourselves, the more authentic we can be, we're giving that permission slip out through our heart field to everybody else to be their true and authentic selves, which I think is the most beautiful part of this work for me.
It surely is. And I would like to add to this. I mean, once you allow yourself to do what you want to do, I mean, I sometimes hop in the streets, you know, because I just do 2 or 3 steps and I hop. I don't care if anybody sees me or anybody thinks, but I mean, she's not a child or whatever. Well, I feel like a child. And I mean, I don't follow the Bible, but one sentence I recall right now: become like the children. And what does it mean? Become yourself, become authentic, be your true self. Just do what you feel in your heart, but get into your heart first, because it's all about feeling. Once you feel, you know, good about something, you are connected and you feel here and you know, oh, I want more of this. So you will perceive it and you will go ahead with it, you know. And this is what it is all about. And in the end, you're free. Just free yourself of all these chains and everything, because Source, God, doesn't want us to be in chains. He wants us to be ourselves. We are God's children, and we are here to live ourselves. And we are so many of us. I mean, and if everybody would do what he loves to do, I mean, this is my dream. I know it's a bit far away. We would have a happy world. We wouldn't have these guys who need to control and have power over us because they are so afraid. They're very small. They are very small, even though they seem for us to be, wow, strong. They have money. They have the power. They say, no, they're very small and they miss love. They miss it so much. And maybe we can be an example and not give up on ourselves. Never give up on yourself, being yourself. Never. Just go ahead.
I just wanted to mention that you are actually offering a special offer for the audience this season. And it's a 1 to 1.5 hour karmic astrology reading. And it's all around how the lunar nodal axis serves your soul path. and also within that, then you will be sharing, you know, those possibly hidden gifts and talents and strengths that people are holding within that south node area. So do you want to just talk a little bit more about what people can expect on a one-to-one call with you to look at their karmic astrology?
Okay, I mean, first you surely have questions about what you are supposed to do in your life. And what I can do is I can show you where your soul's path starts and which way you are supposed to go. It is not like this that nobody knows any talents or weaknesses of himself. We will just talk, and I let you talk, and I will ask you questions. You know, I'm not going to hold a lecture, because to me, my work is always, we find a solution together. And it's better to work on one point than, and then, you know, find a solution how you can go on, than to have so much information and in the end you don't know where to go. So I will follow what you bring in, and I will point out things when I notice maybe you don't realize this or that. Maybe I will ask a critical question where you have to reflect more. And my goal is that you grow within this hour and that you have tools how to proceed. And it's something to be developed, you know. I mean, one session is surely good to get an idea. I will talk about the whole, you know, so you get an idea and you will understand your life situation better, or your parents or your partner. You know, we can reflect on many things. But it's also a possibility to work on in detail with different points, certain points, you know, because it's not, I mean, astrology is one basic tool, but it's all, I mean, you've heard me talk about all these other things, which they are integrated in the astrology, but they are also life wisdom, psychology, whatever you want to name it. And I will get different, I will be led. One thing that is my strength, I'm intuitive, and I get the information what I have to say. So it's the same thing tonight. I have prepared other things, but Source led us the way we were led, and then we talk about this. But it's in the topic, of course. So Source makes me have a perception of your soul situation when we are in a session. It's but it's a normal session. I don't do anything. I just talk. I get the information, and I'm led where I have to lead you to. So, and in this, I have trust. I have experience for many years, and of course, I connect with my heart. And then we will be both connected, and I will support you as much as I can for your path, because you deserve it. Everybody deserves it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I've actually had a reading with Maria, and I would recommend it. And one of the lovely things that is coming up that wants to be shared is we can often have a perception of certain energies in their negative form. But one of the things that is useful is in a session like this to actually reframe your perspective, your awareness of something. So for me, my South Node is in Virgo. And so, you know, you can look on, I have previously looked on the aspects of Virgo in a lower light, shall we say. And so it's enabling you to embrace and actually see that this is actually a gift and a talent. And one of the examples is of reframing for me, and it doesn't necessarily relate to Virgo, but in my childhood, just through a way of coping with life, I was a chameleon. Now, that meant that I wasn't being my authentic self. And so I always used to look on that in a lower light. It was a negative thing that I thought, oh, that's a negative thing because I'm being what everybody else wants me to be, but I'm not being my true self. But actually, over the last few years, I've realized that being a chameleon is a gift. It's a gift and a talent that I have. And when I reframed it into the positive, it means that I can fit into any group. And I can now share from my authentic, heartfelt, heart open space and mix with anyone. You know, I can mix with the rich, the famous, the well-to-do, and I can mix with those who are less fortunate. And I can speak the language of all of them because throughout my life I have. And so it's that ability, you know, even when we're not fully aware of it, we have a perspective of certain things without having full appreciation of what it is. And when we have a session like this, it enables us to actually reframe something that we go, oh, I didn't realize that that was actually a gift that I have. And for me, those were some of those Virgo aspects, because, you know, Virgo is a bit like,
Well, it's the way you look at it, but it is a lovely energy. It just is, you know, and you brought it along, so you better make friends with it, you know. And I mean, this is what I can recommend, because there's no need in just whipping ourselves and putting ourselves down, because then we will die. Our soul will not be able to develop and open, and our heart, it will be very sad. And I wonder if many people have heart issues. I mean, I'm not a doctor, you know, but sometimes I wonder, do we have heart issues because we don't live our heart? We are not connected. I mean, it's our body is the expression of our emotions, of our inner self. So these are questions I ask myself sometimes. And I think we can heal ourselves from everything when we first accept our life, and we accept who we are, how we deal with things, because everybody has a good way to deal with something. Maybe your way is not mine, but yours is perfect for you. So I don't need to mix up with this, you know. And it's important to listen within. And as Nora also said the other night, I mean, to feel inside. It's all about feeling. When we don't feel, we don't understand, because our knowledge comes from the feeling, not from the thinking. The thinking is just a structure, logic, mathematics. It's perfect. We need our mind, but not as much as we are using it.
No, yeah. Somebody once, I don't know who it was, they said that the mind is the servant of the heart, but we're living the complete opposite. You know, we're not really engaging or connecting in with the heart, and we're focusing on the importance of the mind. So JS has said, will the analysis tell me what kind of jobs in detail for me to choose, such as artistic or business jobs, etc.?
Yeah, we can look into that as well. Profession, yes. it covers every field, you know. And of course, I don't just look into the lunar nodes, but they are the main information we have. And we also have the other aspects in the charts that need to be considered. But of course, I can support you with your professional decisions.
Okay, so has anybody got any other questions? Because I'm just aware of the time. And if not, we will give very, very warm thanks and wrap this conversation up. So if anybody has any burning questions or any comments that they wish to make, this is the time. Otherwise, we'll bring this session to a close. Is there anything that you would like to finish off with, Maria?
Well, I will repeat myself, but I will insist on it because Spirit told me to insist on it. Take it seriously to connect with your heart. We are approaching difficult times. This is just the beginning. We are in a revolution. We are in an Aquarian energy, which means revolution, breakdown of things that are not valid, are not good anymore. We will lose our grounding. We need to ground to stay on the surface and not break down. And when we connect with the heart, we are in the trust. And I can tell you, it's a great feeling. And when you can be more and more in this trust feeling, you will be really a happy person. And you will manage your life with ease and grace. And this is all I wish from deep within my heart. It's a serious matter. Thank you very much. That was clear.
Yeah, I mean, we're going through challenging times. We've been through challenging times, and there's still more to come. And you know, like you said at the beginning, Pluto is gone direct, but he's going to be bouncing backwards and forwards, but ultimately moving into Aquarius. And Pluto brings massive transformational change, and the heart for me is also flow. You know, the mind is the area, the aspect of us that's very rigid. It's got rules, it's got straight lines, it's got restrictive limitations and structures within there. And that's not to say structure's wrong. It's just that we're seeing a lot of those old structures deteriorating, breaking down as we're transitioning into this new age. And it's an age of flow, of liquidity, of fluidity. And that comes from being in the heart, because for me, when I'm in my heart space, all hell can be breaking loose around me, but I'm okay because I'm able to, and I think it was Peter, to ride those waves. And Spirit has shown in a number of client sessions recently this kind of image of a cosmic dancer, just skipping along, you know, like riding these cosmic waves. And they can be doing whatever they're doing, and they will, but it's how we allow that to impact us here on the physical. But it doesn't have to be held within the rigid formats of the mind. When we're in the heart, we're grounded in the heart, we've got that taproot going down, strengthening us and enabling us to be fluid and flowing and to ride along with these amazing planetary transits and incredible energies that we're experiencing, rather than being buffeted and bombarded and flattened by them. So yeah, amazing times to be here, and we all chose this time to be here. So let's ride that wave. Okay, thank you so much, Maria, for joining again. Thank you everybody for joining us on this live call. It was wonderful to share space with you as always. I wish you a joyful rest of your day, a heartful rest of your day, as you enjoy connecting in with your divine truth, your divine essence, your divine joy. And if you are interested in connecting with Maria, all the details of how to contact her will be in the emails that go out, but also on her special offer page as well. And as always, the special offer is available, a discounted karmic astrology session where you can really go in depth, or if you're brand new to it, just get an idea, a flavor of, you know, what you came here, what your soul purpose and where your strengths and gifts and talents lay, to help you get those, you know, step into that heartful experience of living. And that's all available on the free gifts page, but also on a tab underneath Maria's picture on the upcoming calls page and on the replay page as well. So thank you again for joining us this season, Maria. Very short notice for you, but as always, divinely timed and divinely inspired. And I look forward to seeing you all again tomorrow for another live call and a brand new speaker to the summit, Jean Sullivan-Bellecci, who will be talking about manifesting your perfect soulmate, your perfect partner, and guiding us and giving us some tips. And I'm sure one of those will be being your true and authentic self and connecting in with your heart. So I'm looking forward to that conversation tomorrow. So for me, to all of you, many, many heartfelt wishes and blessings for now and for moving forward. And I shall see you all again soon. Take care. Bye.
Bye.